Good morning, boys and girls. Here's our debrief for the question of the day on Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. So the question was, the Lane School sold 1,152 granola bars to raise money for digital cameras. They sold 528 berry bars. The rest were raisin bars. The granola bars came in boxes of 24 bars. How many boxes of each kind of granola bar did they sell? Well, first of all, this is a two-step word problem. The first thing I want to do is circle the numbers in the problem. So I have 1,152 granola bars. And of that 1,152, 528 were berry bars, and the rest were raisin bars. The rest. So I have to figure out, first of all, in my first step for this problem, what number constitutes the rest that were raisin bars. So the first thing I want to do is take 1,152 and subtract 528 so that I can figure out how many of these bars were raisin bars. So 2 cannot subtract 8, so I'm going to regroup and borrow 10 from the tens place and change the 5 to a 4. And when I give that 10 to the ones place, the 2 becomes a 12. So 12 subtract 8 is 4, because 4 plus 8 is 12. 4 subtract 2 is 2. When I get to the hundreds place, I cannot subtract 5 from 1, so I'm going to borrow 10 from the thousands place and turn that 1 into a 0. When I add that 10 to the hundreds place, my 1 becomes an 11. So 11 subtract 5 is 624. So I have 528 bars that were berry, and I'm going to write that off to the side. And then I had 624 bars that are raisin. So now I'm ready to finish reading the rest of the question. The granola bars came in boxes of 24 bars. So how many boxes of each kind of granola bar did they sell? So that means that I have to divide 528 by 24 to figure out the number for berry. And then I have to divide 624 by 24 to figure out the number of bars, number of boxes of raisin bars there were. So I'm going to go ahead and erase my subtraction from the first step of my problem. And I'm going to reset up a division problem with 24 as the divisor, because that's how many bars come in a box, and 528 as my first dividend, so I can figure out how many boxes of berry were sold first. So I like to use a strategy called a cheat sheet, because I don't know off the top of my head how many times 24 can go into 52. So I like to come off to the side and do a little cheat sheet, and I go multiplication facts, or I do my multiplication facts with my divisor going all the way up from 1 to 5 to start. So I set them up first. Oh, that looks messy. I can't tell that that's 24. So let me rewrite that. 24 times 4. And then 24 times 5. Now I could also use repeated addition. Well, any number times 24 is itself. So 24 times 1 is 24. And now I get to 24 times 2, okay? 24 times 2. So 24 times 2. 4 times 2 is 8, and 2 times 2 is 4. So I'm going to put my 48. And then I'm going to erase. And now I need 24 times 3. I'm working on my cheat sheet. 4 times 3 is 12. Regroup the 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 more is 7. So 24 times 3 is 72. So now I need 24 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. When I regroup the 1, 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 more is 9. So that's 96. Now I want to do a quick check and see if I can stop. Well, my first two numbers is 52. And I've gone up to 48, and then there's 72. So I think I can stop working on my cheat sheet and start using my division steps to divide. So how many 24s are there in 52? Well, there's 2. So I'm going to put that 2 over top of the 2 in 52. 24 times 2 is 48. So I'm going to subtract, which is my third step. Subtract 48 from 52. When I borrow, change the 5 to a 4. The 2 changes to a 12. 12 subtract 8 is 4. Now for step 4, I'm going to bring down my 8. Now, how many 24s and 48? Well, if I go back to my cheat sheet, I already know the answer is 2. So 2 times 24 is 48, and I'm going to subtract, and I have no remainder. So I know that 22 of the boxes were buried. So I'm going to write that. Oh, that doesn't look like a 2. That looks like a 12. Let's rewrite that. So that's 22. Now, am I done working? No, I am not done working. Now I have to divide 624 by 24. So I'm going to set up with 24 as my divisor again, and 624 as my dividend. Well, guess what? I already have a cheat sheet, so I can continue to use the same cheat sheet. 24 cannot be divided into 6, but I can divide it into 62. When I look at my cheat sheet, I have 24 times 2 is 48. 24 times 3 is 72. 72 is going too far, so I'm not going to use 3. I'm going to use 2 again. And again, that 2 goes on top of the 2 in my on top of my division symbol. And I'm going to subtract the 48 from 62. 2 can't subtract 8, so I'm going to borrow, change my 6 to a 5, my 2 to a 12. 12 subtract 8 is 4. And 5 subtract 4 is 1. So now I have to bring down my 4. So I have to ask myself, how many 24s are there in 144? Well, I did not go far enough with my cheat sheet. My cheat sheet stops at 96. So I have to multiply 24 times 5, because I have to get as close to possible to 144. So 4 times 5 is 20. Regroup the 2. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 more is 12. So that's 120. I think I can still go further. So I'm going to erase. And now I'm going to multiply 24 times 6. I need to keep going in my cheat sheet. And you will find sometimes that you will have to keep going in your cheat sheet. So 24 times 6. 4 times 6 is 24. Regroup the 2. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 2 more is 14. So 24 times 6 is 144 on the nose. So I'm going to use 6. So I divide. Now I'm going to multiply. 24 times 6 is 144. Now I'm going to subtract. And I zero out with no remainder. So the number of boxes that are buried is 22, and the number of boxes that are raisin is 24. This was a challenging question, but it was a great question. So now I'm going to take time to talk to you about it and find out how many of you guys were close, how many of you guys got it, And then we're going to continue on with this great work in division. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the debrief for today's question of the day. I'll see you tomorrow.